Dear friends, this election year, everything is at stake, from the presidency, Supreme Court, to our state and local elections. We have a crucial opportunity to help move the needle on some issues we've been working on together. At Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity, we have a vision of a world where the wholeness and humanity of Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color are fully recognized and honored. We know that when Black lives matter, all lives will matter. With you and our partners, we're creating a California where everyone can participate and everyone gets to thrive. Elections are a time for us to take collective responsibility for our common good, to create a culture, economy, and government that promotes equity and improves the dignity and quality of life, especially for those most vulnerable. As people of faith, we have a moral responsibility to engage in our democracy and to vote with our values of loving our neighbors, generosity, compassion, mercy, care, and sustainability, not just for ourselves and our own families, but for the larger whole and for future generations. In the election at the national level, the issue of immigration is controlled and defined by the federal government. The Office of the Presidency, which oversees the Department of Homeland Security and immigration offices, and the federal Congress, which shapes immigration policy and funding. Judges have also increasingly played a critical role around the rights and status of immigrants in our country. I can't stress enough the importance of the vote this year in terms of the well-being and dignity of immigrants of all statuses and countries of origin and what it means for who we are as a nation. At the state level, the faith-rooted organizing and advocacy you have done with us is helping to change public perception. This year in California, we have an opportunity to divest from systems of cruelty and harm and invest in new forms of security based in supporting human needs. There are propositions at the local and state levels that decarcerate a system that profits from suffering, dismantles racial inequity, and invests in community alternatives. In the next 6 weeks, we'll be engaging in a number of activities we'd like to invite you and your friends to attend. On Friday, October 2nd, please join our webinar at 10 a.m. called Uplifting Our Interfaith Vote to learn about the important statewide propositions that will impact incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, and immigrant communities. At Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity, one of our principles is to center the experiences of those most impacted by policies. So you'll be hearing from those closest to the issues, as well as partners who will share about key ballot measures that could make a big difference this year. In October, we'll be holding a webinar for Spanish-speaking lay leaders and community members. Even though there are people who are denied or unable to vote this time around, some who are immigrants, who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated people, everyone has a voice and can play a role to encourage, educate, and motivate others to vote this year. There are 34 million poor and low-income people who were eligible but did not vote in 2016. This year, we can make a difference. On October 16th at 10 a.m., please join our monthly Interfaith Prayer Vigil, which in October will be dedicated to the upcoming election, on the theme of lifting up the sacredness of the vote. We'll remember those who have sacrificed their lives and fought for generations and are still fighting for the full enfranchisement of their right to vote and self-determination. We're living in a country that's still shaped by white supremacy, structural racism, and white control. A country where we have still yet to live into our democracy. Voting is one way we can change that. There is power in voting, which is why there have been tremendous efforts to suppress the vote. Black Americans and others have been systematically cut from the rolls. Immigrants have endured decades of being denied a pathway to fix their status so that they can become full members of our society. People with former convictions who are citizens, even after they paid their debt to society, have been stripped of their right to vote. We will lift up whose lives are at stake in this election and pray together, because we also believe in the power of prayer. This election, we have a historic opportunity. It's both frightening and exciting. We know that our work goes on, no matter who wins or what the election outcome is, So we'll be here after Election Day, no matter what. We know that this is a long-term movement towards beloved community and a beautiful vision. So thank you for being on this journey with us.